Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I want to start off my line of questioning. I'm sorry, the chair yields himself 5 minutes. I want to start off my line of questioning dealing with FSOC and its interaction with the G20's Financial Stability Board. There is bipartisan concern about the, if you will, the who, what, where, when, and why of designating non-bank financial institutions as systemically important financial institutions, which, as you know, can have huge, not just domestic, but global implications for the financial system and the economy. So the Treasury is one of the members of the G20's Financial Stability Board, which has designated at least 3 U.S. insurance companies now as global SIFIs, MetLife, Prudential, AIG, correct?
That's correct.
And as part of that process, did Treasury approve of that global SIFI designation?
Mr. Chairman, I think it's important to put the FSB and FSOC responsibilities in context.
Mr. Secretary, again, I'm happy to give you time to give the context, but could we get the answer first and then the context? Well, sometimes I fear I get the context, I don't get
Mr. Chairman, the FSB is a group that acts by consensus, and it does not make rules for any of the national governments. Each of our national authorities makes our own rules, and only the FSOC can designate with the effect of that designation having real meaning in terms of what happens afterwards.
Well, allow me to ask it this way then. Did Treasury consent in the designations?
Mr. Chairman, the process is a consensual process. Every country has its own ability to make its own decisions for itself.
I understand that, Mr. Secretary. So is the answer yes, that Treasury consented, or did Treasury object?
Mr. Chairman, the point I'm trying to make is that the designation that has an effect is the FSOC designation. We have not made a determination with regard to one of the companies.
I understand that.
With regard to others. Any decision that we make will be guided by the process in the FSOC, where we consider very carefully all the evidence and ultimately the case made by each firm.
So let me try it one more time. Did Treasury consent or object to the designation by the Financial Stability Board of designating AIG, MetLife, and Prudential as global SIFIs?
Mr. Chairman, it is not a vote. It's a consensus decision made in the FSB.
I sense, Mr. Secretary, we're just not going to see eye to eye on what an answer to a question is. But let me move on with the limited time that
if I could just make one other point, Mr. Chairman. The process by which these designations are made is one where FSOC goes through very substantial analysis. It is never the case that you start with a decision. You always make a decision based on the analysis of facts, and a firm has the ability to...
I understand that, Mr. Secretary. I'm just trying to figure out what Treasury's decision was, and you seemingly won't tell us.
Decision.
I guess de facto there was consent, but I don't understand why it's so difficult to admit it in open testimony if that's what happened.
The place where Treasury will make a decision on whether or not to designate a firm is in the FSOC.
Okay, well the question is then, to what extent is FSOC following the lead or the direction of the Financial Stability Board, since shortly after participating in the Financial Stability Board's proceedings, then FSOC designated at least 2 of the non-bank insurance companies as SIFIs, correct?
Well, those processes were well underway at FSOC at that point. They were made independent of the decision made at the FSB based on the analysis in...
Well, how are they independent if you've already set through one set of proceedings? So you're saying that one set of proceedings had nothing to do with the other set of proceedings?
Well, the decisions made at the the FSB do not require that a national authority take an action.
No, I understand that, Mr. Secretary.
And what they do, I mean, what I was going to do by putting it in context is, in response to the financial crisis, what the FSB has become is a place where an international conversation can take place to try and put model approaches that lead us closer to, doing the right thing. I understand that, Mr. Secretary.
Your time is limited and my time is limited at the moment. So let me just end with this statement. There's increasing, again, bipartisan concern about the immense discretionary power that FSOC has and how, frankly, little transparency It has, notwithstanding the actions taken yesterday. Incredible ability to take these non-bank institutions and effectively put them into a bailout position with very little transparency, with very little indication of the methodology used by which to make these decisions and adjudications. As you well know, we will have you back next month. We will have another hearing next month on this process. I would simply call upon you as head of FSOC to cease and desist with these designations until all our questions can be answered fully and Congress can exercise its oversight authority over this incredible process. Well, with that, I yield 5 minutes to the ranking member.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, on the question of FSOC, which we will have more of an opportunity to discuss, I think it's important to know the statute set it up for a purpose, and FSOC is carrying out a statutory responsibility, and it does it with great care and a process that I think has great integrity.
And very little transparency. 5 minutes to the ranking member.